Greetings everybody, welcome to G4G here on YouTube. I'm your host, Napalm Dawn. Today's background music is brought to you by Emotional Conflict, a synthwave mix, and in all honesty, there's probably no better of a soundtrack or the name of a soundtrack for this particular video than this music, because I wanted to deal with something that is kind of near and dear to my heart, but maybe not in the way that you think. Now, you've probably seen dozens, if not hundreds, of YouTubers talk about the passing of Total Biscuit here on YouTube. And for a lot of people, this is definitely a very, very sad day. He was a major YouTube personality. I'm not going to be one of those people who says that he was somebody who shaped how I deal with my YouTube videos. But I did watch a lot of his videos, especially years ago, mostly for gameplay footage and an opinion on the game. And a lot of times if I was thinking about purchasing a game or acquiring it in some way, Total Biscuit's take on videos was one that I liked. And him, along with Yahtzee and a few others, were often humorous, and I liked a humorous approach to games and everything, is it kind of lightened it up than just raw footage of like, this is this setting, this is this audio setting, this is graphic settings, it has a lot of graphic settings, yay, that's cool, here's the gameplay, this first level sucks. I mean, it's okay and all, but I wanted a little bit more personality in my videos. That being said, another popular YouTuber like him, Jimquisition, is not somebody I run into too much. I know some of his stuff, but sometimes Jimquisition really gets on my nerves. But I was definitely fond of Total Biscuit's videos, and it is definitely sad for any human being to lose their life to cancer at a very young age of 33. I mean, that's somebody younger than me, having been diagnosed with terminal cancer and beat it for a little while, only to have it come back around and come out of remission. And, well, we all know what happened. And while I did have a moment of silence for him in one of my most recent videos, I wanted to talk about the rather disgusting set of people that have risen their head on the net and have actually been okay with his demise, and how it hits me. And this is where the topic of this video is. How it hits me is, I was a PR person. I was in college as a communications major. I started off in business communications and would eventually switch over to public relations, which I liked a lot more. And at that time, pre-internet, or the birth of the internet and everything, we had case studies. And case studies were things like Delta plane crashes, cyanide in Tylenol, glass in Pepsi. And this is what kind of why, like, everybody liked Crystal Pepsi for a while. It's like, well, there's no glass in my soda, I can see it. So we had these things called case studies that were examples of good and bad PR. And two people specifically that I know of, mostly this David Crooks character, have tweeted really, really disgusting things about the loss of Total Biscuit. And it's, to me, abhorrent that this kind of thing happens. And personally, I think David Crooks has committed career suicide. I don't see anybody taking the risk of hiring this person ever again, because you're dead. Like, you have just slit every single blood containing vessel in your body and just splayed it out all over the internet. You are on a pike at this point. Remember in Bram Stoker's Dracula, like, Vlad the Impaler and all of his victims were just sitting up there on spikes, and some of them were still alive and twitching? That's this dude. This is fucking gross. To see this from somebody who's in the public eye. And to kind of give you a little bit of background on my PR, in my active competitive days of FPS when I did things like Halo and Red Faction, Unreal Tournament 2K4. I adminned at several competitive websites, Proving Grounds, IGL, Team Warfare, or otherwise known as TWL, and a few others that were a little bit lesser known. You, as a person in the public eye and representing an entity greater than yourself, which in this case was those competitive websites, you have to act a certain way in the public eye. If you were just a player and you wanted to use bad late 90s, early 2000s terminology that was common at the time, you were probably going to get your little bit of censorship and everything like that. And if you did that on a forum on these sites, you'd probably get a ding and whatnot, but you could kind of do what you wanted to do. As an admin, you had a certain quality that was expected of you, and you could not do those things. I could not hop on the forum and tell a team who just cheated in their previous match by running a ringer or something and say something like, your shitty team will never play on Proving Grounds again, you guys are all fucking awful, and this, that, and the other thing. It wouldn't fly. That's not the decorum of somebody who represents that website. And that's honestly a little bit political here for a moment. That's one of my major issues with Trump, is that he is a PR nightmare. And whether you like him or not, the guy is a steaming pile of travesty when it comes to his actions and what he says in his tweets. And so like him or not, you have to admit the guy's a PR nightmare. Well, David Crooks is apparently trying to one-up some of Trump's worst actions on Twitter. Weird the world felt a little bit lighter sometime around an hour and a half ago. Maybe it was my shoes. Oh wait, no, it was Total Biscuit dying. And he posts pictures of axes to grind. And he's like, how about he was the center point of 2 major games that I worked out, dishing a plethora of shitty criticisms. Being obsessed over graphics. And, you know, knowingly wheeled in through around whiny child indie devs. He's saying that he was a laser for his toxic fan base and never addressed it. And I wonder if in that case he means Total Biscuit never got out there and said, hey, people that are fans of me, don't do these bad things in my name. That's potentially what he was getting at, because here it makes reference to the fact that Total Biscuit downplayed cyber threats against Anita Sarkeesian with Gamergate, and that Total Biscuit was a proponent of Gamergate and everything like that. Well, yeah, to a large degree, Total Biscuit obviously was, because a lot of Gamergate, whether you agree it or not, had to do with the fact that they wanted honesty in the press. They wanted honesty in the media. If you were going to review your girlfriend's game, you should distance yourself from that. And that's whatever bone David Crooks had to pick with this guy for potentially reviewing some of the games he worked on and calling them shitty and you know, roasting them for whatever. First of all, why don't you think that maybe Total Biscuit was right and that your games did need these criticisms that came upon him, and maybe you should fix it next time, regardless of where the truth is in the spectrum. To represent a company, and he was former BioWare and now, you know, EA, and he's worked on Mass Effect and everything like that. You could see it right over here. These tweets, by the way, have been deleted, but they've been archived. To have this stance that you're happy somebody who died of the pain of cancer, who leaves behind at the very least a wife, who had to come to media and say Total Biscuit has lost his life, he's now passed away. Can you imagine being her and reading something like this online? The depths of my sorrow would be bottomless if I had to come online and see people happy that my significant other had passed away. I I don't know how I would feel. I don't know if the rage would be stronger than the sorrow, but it is absolutely ridiculous that somebody in the public eye would think this is okay to tweet. I mean, I hope to serious God here at this point, this guy never gets a software job again, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Wishing somebody dead or being happy that they're dead should be reserved for pure evil. We're talking Hitler. Like, Hitler does. I won't even sit here and say Trump deserves this stuff, because nobody does unless they are the walking incarnate of evil on this planet. And to go on this multiple tweet tirade, I truly hope the internet never forgets this, and I truly hope this guy never works in the industry again. I hope no software house ever picks this guy up and takes this risk that this guy will work for your company. I was talking about this situation at work with a couple people, and I said, like, welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order, please? Because that's all that this guy is going to be good for at this point in time. Because if he shows up in the credits somewhere on a game, or somebody says, and former BioWare dev David Crooks is... No, it's nobody's going to want to buy the game. It's going to be protested. He's been involved in companies that have already had predatory practices. Gone. So in researching the exact tweets that he did, I came across this other guy, Mike Jungbluth, who is an animator of BioWare, at BioWare, working on Anthem, which is the game that, let's be frank, a lot of people are hoping Anthem saves BioWare after their track record recently. And Anthem may or may not be the good thing that saves them. I mean, people are very concerned that Anthem is going to go down a bad and dark path. I mean, I kind of like the food he talks about over here in his header. I mean, I'm eyeing calzones and raviolis, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But this is another guy that did horrible things. This is his apology over here, and I like a lot of people calling him out on his apology, saying this is what HR made me to do. And I love this one. This is a very, very snarky comment here. The character you are attempting to portray here is slightly less believable than anything in Andromeda. Sick burn. I need a Kelso over here, but his original posts say that we should be, first of all, nice fucking rainbow pajamas over here. If we don't speak the entire truth of a person after they pass and allow their toxic behavior to go silent while only applauding their successes, we reward people for their accomplishments no matter how they achieve them. Again, this is not fucking Hitler. This is a critic. You are going to enjoy things he says. You're going to not enjoy them. You're going to agree. You're going to disagree. But to wallow in the kiddie pool part of the pool in happiness that he's passed away is utterly ridiculous. And if you want to discuss the negative items in a person's past or the positive items, you're absolutely right to do that. But it's this happiness, it's this glorification of his death in a bad way that is really getting to me, and the PR person in me just screams at the stupidity of these people, because the internet will not let this stuff go. The internet holds on to this stuff forever. And as I was talking to a friend of mine at work today about this whole situation, because another moment happened in the media. Roseanne Barr's new show, like, opened to good reviews, and it did peter out a little bit, but everybody was quite happy with Roseanne Barr, you know, the comedy coming back and everything like that. And she apparently took like a pro-Republican stance in the show, and people were buoyed by the fact that, you know, hey, here's somebody not getting like ridiculously liberal, and it's viewable and people enjoy it, people find it funny, and you do need that kind of offset in today's media and everything like that. I think it was a good balance, even though I didn't watch Roseanne anymore. I mean, I watched it a little bit when I was younger, the original version. The new version I didn't watch, but you know, apparently she's quite the crackpot, which I did not know this. She tweets like right-wing conspiracy theories and all that kind of shit, and just recently posted something that was highly and heavily construed as racist, and she put out an apology, and apparently she decided to leave media. So here we have David Crooks, who did something that would cost him his job at a place, and here we have Roseanne costing everybody their job. Those tweets cost the show its second season. That's it. It's gone. ABC has gone, that's it. We're distancing ourselves from this. We don't want this kind of, you know, a person like you doing a show on a network. Goodbye. And this isn't like a right-wing or a left-wing opinion or something. It was a pretty racist tweet. And it was good to see that there was some balance of like, this is happening in the game world and this is happening in regular media. These two things kind of back to back being similar. And it made me think, like, does this stuff happen because of the internet generation? Is all this happening because it's not a word or phrase on a newscast and then it goes away largely, or a piece of text in a newspaper or magazine that eventually disappears? The internet is far more forever than other forms of media. And then I kind of remembered, no, it's not the internet generation. Remember Michael Richards from Seinfeld? His stand-up routine? That was his death knell. That was him pulling a David Crooks. And it hasn't ever fixed from then. So I kind of corrected my own thought and said, this isn't an internet thing, that the Roseanne thing is happening and Trump things happen and this David Crooks thing about Total Biscuit happens. It's actually, and it's good to see that it's not the internet, it's life. It's the severity of your transgression. It's the things you say. It's the weight behind it. It's the heaviness behind it. You know, being happy that somebody is dead is ridiculous no matter where it happens. Roseanne's very, very super racist tweet is still going to be racist whether she said that in a conversation or that was a tweet. And that's good to see that it's not just modern digital media that's changing all this. It's always been there. It just, the internet makes it more forever. But yeah, lots of people commit, you kind of forget about it because every career suicide is almost committed on the internet now. But yeah, there have been enough career suicides out there not on the internet and pre-internet times that have stuck. So it's good to see that this is not isolated just to this, like, Twitter and Facebook posts and everything like that. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys here on this news segment, is that you know, it is my opinion of whatever Total Biscuit did or did not do in his life, whatever positive or negative emotions you have of him. And to be honest, mine were positive. I didn't see the side of him that a lot of people have been attacking. And there's even been things with the ADGQs, the Summer Games and Amazing Games Done Quick, and he's been involved in some stuff over there. I never really got to run into those face first. I just know more his gameplay and review videos. And again, regardless, to be to be talking about his death in a light that exposes that you were happy with the situation is just disgusting. And it makes the PR person in me just want to strangle these individuals and be like, that's it, goodbye, you're done at this point in time. And I really do hope that at least David Crooks never gets a job again. And I think everything he did is ridiculously offensive. The fact that it was not even just the one post, but a whole tirade of post after post after post, and the axe to grind pictures, and saying how light the weight of the world is now. I mean, that's frankly awful. So let me know what you guys think down below. I definitely considered this a news segment because these are gaming people who did all this stuff, and Total Biscuit was a fellow YouTuber and everything. And I mean, dancing happily on somebody's graves while their loved ones are suffering is, yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about. And God, I hope Anthem isn't in jeopardy from all this, because this is the one thing that everybody hopes saves them, but we'll see. So, take care, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments below.